Hello students, welcome to Medical 360 and Career 360. With the NEET exam being over, a lot of students keep asking how do you go about choosing a medical college? Is there a way of saying that this medical college is good for me as compared to this medical college? Given the fact that you're getting two options, two medical colleges, what are the way you choose between the two medical colleges? That's what we're going to discuss here. And what we came out is 8 rules that you must follow every time when you're choosing a medical college, or 8 factors that you must consider when you're choosing a medical college. Before I move further, 3 requests that I always have for you. If you want me to cover anything which is specific to you or which has some kind of a impact on all student community, please write to me in the message box here below the video and I'll try to cover that for you. That's the only way you'll be able to reach out to me. Please do subscribe to Medical 360 because we're creating a lot of content around medical information, alerts, advisories, mentorship, bringing in medical universities also to talk to you. So if you want to be covered in everything, please do subscribe to Medical 360. And I must thank the university partner SRM IST, which is a Tamil Nadu-based deemed to be university, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, which also has a School of Medical and Health Sciences, which has a medical college with 250 plus seats. But besides that, they have about 30 plus undergrad and postgrad programs only on life and allied sciences. So please do look out for them. We partnered with them because we want to create content, information, alerts, advisories, so that students take the best possible decision for themselves. Now about this particular thing of how to choose the right medical college is what we're covering at this point in time. Please do look out, right? Now, there's one more thing, by the way. A lot of students also ask us whether they can talk to us personally. So what we did was we created a helpline. The helpline is this 8443888756. On this number, you send a message called saying NEET, and one of our counselors will call you, and you can have a conversation with them. And if you want to have one-to-one counseling also, you can please go through that. And by the way, these counselors will be good at not just MBBS, but they'll also tell you whether you should repeat the examination NEET, whether you can join any of the allied and life sciences in any other college. So they'll give you all kinds of options. So please do have a conversation with them if you want greater clarity. Right. Now about this particular thing of the medical college options after NEET. I'll just briefly tell you how you actually how the counseling works, right? One is a centralized counseling, which is called MCC, right? Where you have the 15% all India quota is decided there. Then you have all the central universities go through MCC, deemed universities go through MCC, AIIMS and JIPMER go through that, ESAC insured persons quota also goes through that, and AFMC registration also happens through that. That is the centralized counseling, which is called MCC. Then for each of the state that you're domiciled in, you also have the state counseling, where the 85% state quota seats in government colleges. The 15% goes in the all India quota from the state quota, but 85% comes here. Then 100% seats of all private colleges, state private colleges, mind you, and managed separately by each state. So the state counseling is managed each state. So every single state has its own way of state counseling. Now that is how the medical college options after NEET happen, the all India quota, which is through MCC, and the state counseling. Now what we'll talk of the 8 key factors that you must look at before choosing a medical college. What are the 8 factors? We'll go one by one and I'll explain to you in detail. Please watch this. This is extremely important for you to decide how to go about choosing a medical college. The first factor is the college age. The older the college, the more reputed and the more legacy the college is. Older institutions have stronger systems, traditions, and reputation, and established faculty pipelines and hospital networks. So because it's an old institution, the faculty pipelines are very, very strong, which means you actually get the best of the faculty coming and teaching to you. And check the founding year before assuming quality, right? Founding year determines to a certain extent, the longevity of the institution determines. For example, we've given you 2 examples here. One is Madras Medical College in Chennai, established in 1835, and one is Government Medical College in Yadagiri Bhuvanagiri, Telangana, established in 2024, which is a new medical college. Wrong to compare such a divergent thing, but the idea is to bring to your notice how a longer legacy impacts. Now this Madras Medical College, for example, has 7,285 beds and about 2,720 are teaching beds, right? Now the daily patient load is 19,000 patients per day, which means you have so much more learning, so much more hands-on experience that you will have when you join this particular college. They have 52 operation theatres and 231 ICU beds and 15 cancer ICU beds. So what happens is when you actually have so many patients coming in and so many operation theatres and ICUs and all, you are actually dealing with criticality of cases also, and to that extent your learning also increases dramatically. Then super specialty, they have cardiology neurosurgery, oncology, nephrology, and urology, and so on and so forth. So you will always have an option of getting into super specialty as you move along if that is the way you want to go. And of course, the fee is lesser, and the campus is in the same campus. Walk across the road. You walk across the road, you get into the college. The campus is right across the road. Now that is the older institution. Now look at Government Medical College Yadadri in Bhuvanagiri. These 220 beds, right? And it's minimal. Hospital staff is ramping up. The daily patient load is minimal at this point in time, right? Operation theatre, you have basic setup, rooms still being equipped. They've not even equipped that because it's a new institution, right? And then there is no super specialty, and it is attached to a teaching hospital. So it is not a teaching hospital in itself, it is attached to a teaching hospital. So that is the difference. When you actually have an older institution, the number of patients, the number of operation theatres, the expansion of the super specialty, all these things will start working in your favor. And to that extent, your learning and skilling and understanding this, your domain, your profession will be much deeper than when you join a newer medical college. So that is the difference between these two. The second thing is the hospital details. Everything is a hospital, but what kind of facilities do you have in the hospital? What kind of specialties do you have in the hospital? How many beds do you have? How many outpatient wards do you have? How many outpatients come in? All these things are very important. So the higher OPD, IPD numbers means better case exposure, because every case is independent of the other one. And every case teaches you something else also, right? So one is the higher OPD, IPD numbers. That's very important. Variety of case sharpens clinical thinking. The more the number of cases, you're experiencing different cases, so it also sharpens your critical thinking and clinical thinking. And the real MBBS learning happens in the hospital, not in the classroom. Classroom is where you read, but your real experience of being a doctor happens in the hospital when you're dealing with the patients, when you're going on the rounds with the senior doctor, and when you're learning each of the patient's specific issues and trying to solve them, or the doctor discusses with them. That is when you actually do a real learning. And that happens in a good hospital, right? So let's look at the real world comparison for a moment. Let's compare Calcutta, Medical College in Calcutta. It's a government college. And another one, which is a government medical college in Shahjahanpur in UP. In Calcutta Medical College, you have 1,378 beds. The daily OPD is about 4,000 plus. And the distance from college is just 100 meters away. You just walk across, right? And they also give a stipend of about 32,000 rupees per month as internship for people working, studying in the medical college and going on the rounds in the Calcutta Medical College. Now, the other case is this one, which is the Government Medical College, Shahjahanpur. They have 430 beds. OPD is 1,400 to 1,500 a day, right? It's 9 kilometers away. The distance from the college is 9 kilometers. So you travel up quite a bit. And there is no super specialty courses, right? So that is what happens, right? When you actually deal with a real world comparison of the hospital details, you get down to the beds, the hospital beds, the ICUs, the specialties that are offered, that also matters. So understand the hospital details of what is the infra and everything that's available in the hospital. The third one is choose a right location. Location does matter in certain cases. Having said that, I'm not a big fan of location because India needs doctors in every place. But if you want to have a particular kind of a learning and a particular way of living life, then the location does matter, because the metro and city hospitals, what happens is you have patients coming from all over around those areas. It can be from districts, villages, and all that come here, and because they look for super specialty. So higher patient diversity. When you actually are sitting in a metro, the patient diversity is very high because people from around the villages and far off places also come to the city for treatments for specific cases. So you actually have higher patient diversity in terms of urban and referral cases. Then the other thing is better access to super specialty centers, because cities have super specialty centers. Not every district hospital has all super specialty, right? But when something is serious, they move towards city in a super specialty hospital, which is what will happen here. More research and conference opportunities, because you will actually engage with a lot more people, you will learn from a lot more people, and you'll also be in many more conferences and networking with leading clinicians. Right? Now the language and culture. Language barrier can affect patient communication. So you then can start dealing with that whole thing. Clinical history taking in local language is essential, right? And consider comfort with the state's dominant language. And culture and food adjust over time, language matters more, right? And then the comfort and accessibility. The climate, extreme heat, cold affects study routine, connectivity, flights, trains for holidays, safety especially relevant for students moving alone, and family accessibility during emergencies. So essentially, you should be looking at the location. Now, each of you might have a different, ask of the location, by the way, but you must get into the right location based on your, your way of living. You're wanting to learn certain things. You're wanting to, aspiring to do certain things. Based on that, you must choose your location also. The next one is the bond rules. This is extremely, extremely important for medical. There is this big question that's coming up, which is that, if you can actually ask for a bond from a medical doctor, why can't you ask a bond from an IIT engineer also? Because they are also being served or, subsidized by the state. But I will not get into that question at this point in time. I'll at this point in time talk of the kind of bond rules that are there and how you must read them and how you must factor them into your decision making. Right? What to check before the accepting the thing? Bond duration, it's 1 to 5 years. Some states prescribe 5 years of rural posting. You're getting into government medical college, 5 years of rural posting. Penalty amount if bond is broken. So if you just want to walk out of it, the penalty is extreme, very, very high. Rural versus urban posting requirement. Some of them say in hilly areas, in rural areas. So there is a bond requirement within that also. Within the 5 years, they say at least 3 years in rural areas or 5 years in hilly areas. Let's say that in the bond itself, right? And timing, does it clash with your PG prep? Because ultimately, when you want to do NEET PG also and also get onto a PG for MD programs, then the bond also matters, because if it's a 5-year internship, rural posting, then what happens to your preparation and appearing for MD? That also affects it. And whether the bond is mandatory or optional, that also you must know, because if it's mandatory, then you can't escape. If it's optional, means that you can pay and get out of it. And all those things you must look at, right? And this example, the bond examples I'm giving you. In Assam, the 1-year compulsory rural service or 5-year state health service after MBBS is compulsory. That's in Assam. In Tamil Nadu, up to 5 years rural service on government demand within 2 years of registration. So the day you register as a practitioner, medical practitioner, 5 years becomes compulsory for you. Right? And the third one is Uttarakhand, where minimum 5 years in hilly region is what they mandate. Or the bond says penalty of 1 crore rupees if you break the bond. So if you study in a government medical college in Uttarakhand and you don't serve for 5 years, you need to pay the state 1 crore rupees. Right? So the bond impact on PG, a 5-year bond can delay your NEET PG attempt significantly. Factor this into your decision, especially if PG is your goal. Because most of you at some point in time will do PG. Right? In which case, when do you want to pursue that and how do you deal with the bond is something you must look out for. The next one is, again, when I talk of the bond rules, for example, this Tamil Nadu bond policy, right? What does the Tamil Nadu bond policy say? The candidate shall, on demand made by the government within 2 years from the date on which she registers himself herself as a medical practitioner, serve for a period of not less than 5 years. Not less than 5 years. And in such rural areas as the government may by general or special orders specify. Now that is a Tamil Nadu state, bond policy. If you can study into a government medical college in Tamil Nadu, that is your bond policy. You cannot break that. It's no longer optional, right? Now, if you look at the other thing is the complete fee structure, right? A lot of people now, they have a lesser tuition fee, but a lot of hostel fee and all is pumped up and padded up. For example, you look at this in the fee calculation. The tuition fee is what you must calculate, obviously. The hostel and mess charges you must look at. Caution money may or may not be refundable, because some people demand a lot of caution money that's not refundable at times. And educational transport, workshops, CMA fees, exam fees, and registration charges. All those things combined together makes you the total cost of education. For example, you look at this. There's a Sri Balaji Hostel in campus Raipur, and this is the fee structure for 25-26. Here, the tuition fee is 8,02,000 only. Maybe that's mandated by the government. But the hostel, mess, transport, CME workshop is 5.5 lakh rupees. So in all, when you put it, it's about 13.77 lakh. Whereas the fee you might think is actually, you might actually think that the fee is only 8 lakh rupees, so I can go ahead. But by the time you add up everything, including caution deposit and everything, it becomes about 13.77 or 14 lakh rupees. And at 14 lakh rupees, you're dealing with 75 lakh plus as a private college. Whereas that can be much lesser. So Start looking out for all the other hostel and mess and those kind of fees, because I've also seen in the case of MD and all, the hostel fee is about 10-12 lakh rupees, which is as good as buying a place, a flat in those places, because they're remote areas, mind you, but they still charge you about 10-12 lakh rupees as hostel fee itself. And you can actually buy that apartment there if you can. Right? So you must look out for the hostel mess and other charges that are being loaded or padded onto the whole fee structure, because the fee possibly is controlled or contained or regulated, and the hostel fee is not controlled. The next one is again the exam complete fee structure. We talked of Balaji Hospital. Here is a screenshot of this. 22/8/2025 dated. Sri Balaji Hospital Campus, Moa, Raipur. 8,02,700 is tuition fee, and 5.5 lakh rupees is the hostel and mess fees. And in all, we are talking of 13.77 lakh rupees, which is what we mentioned earlier. So just be careful about how you read the fee structure. The total cost of education is not the total fees. It's much, much more. And what is that much, much more is something that you must determine. Again, we talked of the fee structure of bonded and non-bonded candidates. You look at this one. This is about the state of Uttarakhand, right? Fee is different for bonded and non-bonded. So if you're taking a bonded thing, the fee is lesser. And if you're taking a non-bonded, the fee is higher. And that also is within the fee structure. The fee structure can say that it's 1 lakh rupees per annum kind of a thing. But that might be for the bonded ones. The moment you say it's non-bonded, the fee would increase dramatically. Like in the state of Uttarakhand, the minimum period of 5 years in any of the government hospital or health center situated in hilly region of the state, failing which they shall be liable or jointly to pay up to 1 crore rupees as penalty. So just be very clear about the kind of bonds that you're signing up, and the fee structure would also change depending on whether you're entering into a bonded fee structure or a non-bonded fee structure. Then the sixth one, which is infrastructure. How good is the college campus and lecture hall quality? Because you would need to attend a lot of lectures to understand entire medical curriculum very, very well. So please do look at that, the campus and the college campus and lecture hall quality. Well-equipped labs, this is a must. Anatomy, physiology, biochemistry. So you need to have labs. If you don't have in a medical college good labs, then your learning is next to nothing. The more the labs, the better the labs, the better the learning. So you must look out for the labs. The hostel standards, you live here for 5 years. So you must at least have some kind of hygiene, some kind of decency, some kind of civility, and those kind of things. So, and which is where the better the hostel, the better, you'll be able to study, focus on studies. Otherwise, you'll always be bothered about many things that happen in the hostel. So look out for the hostel, and because you're going to live 5 years, it's not a small amount of time. Emergency and OT facilities for clinical postings. And modern infrastructure improves learning environment. The presentation skills and everything also is important, so look out for that. So that is the infrastructure and hostel facilities we talked of. The seventh one is cadavers. This is very, very important. Anatomy is the foundation of MBBS. If you want to learn MBBS, you need to understand anatomy, right? And check cadaver to student ratio. Some colleges now, they don't have a cadaver. What is a cadaver? It's a body on which you understand many things, right? If you don't have a cadaver, you don't learn anything. And that is important. Check cadaver to student ratio. Typically, a very good student, cadaver student ratio would mean that few students will have access to one cadaver and they'll be able to learn a lot more. Otherwise, every student is waiting for his or her turn to get onto a cadaver and learn from a cadaver, and that is a challenge. Hands-on dissection builds spatial understanding. So you should be able to deal with that whole thing. And weak cadaver exposure, weak anatomical basics. So you must understand what is the cadaver to student ratio is very, very important at any point. Now, this data is not always available, mind you. So it is for you to make your own inquiries and find this out. And the last thing is internship. Internship is where real clinical confidence forms, right? So you must have internship at some point in time. Check, do interns get hands-on ICU, OT, ward work, right? If you're going around with the doctor at some point in time, do you actually have some kind of a practical experience in the hospital where the intern can do hands-on at ICU level, they'll be treating a ICU patient, OT, ward work and all. And poor internship is watching, not doing. See, one is to go around with a senior doctor and keep watching what they do. And two is once in a while they ask you to help them out and you actually have some kind of a practical training. That also is important. And strong internship means better PG foundation because you can actually crack that PG very, very well. And ask seniors about internship quality also. So it's not just about getting internships, but the quality of internship, the kind of involvement that interns are getting in terms of the learning processes, in terms of the daily rounds that the doctors make at the OT, at the wards, everything. That's very, very important. Serious internships is very, very important for you to become a skilled doctor. Now, in all, when you look at it, what are the pre-choice checklists that you would always look for? What year was the college founded? Is it MCA and NMC recognized? That's the first question that you'll ask. When was it founded? Is it recognized by MCA and NMC? Right? How many OPD patients does the attached hospital see per day? The more the patients, the better for you in terms of learning and skilling yourself. How far is the hospital from the college campus? Do you need to spend an hour traveling from back and forth from the college, or is it very close by across the thing? Is there a bond? What are its terms and penalty amount? If the bond is there, what are the penalty amount? Assuming I want to walk out on it, what happens? Assuming I want to stay back, what is the amount of bond? Right? What is the complete per year fee including hostel and mess? So not just the tuition fee, but including hostel and mess is what you should ask. Does the college have functional labs and adequate hostel? Functional labs and an adequate hostel. In many medical colleges, you don't have enough hostel, so you stay very outside. So that is also very wrong, right? What is the cadaver to student ratio in the anatomy department? And lastly, do interns get hands-on ICU, OT and ward exposure or job just observation? These are the 8 questions that you must ask before choosing a medical college. Create a sheet for yourself. If you want, we'll keep providing data for each of the college. If you want anything, please write in the message box. I'll try to do that for you. But ask these 8 questions between 2 or 3 colleges where you actually have a chance of getting in. And the better the score that you have in this is the college that you will choose. And as I told you, key takeaways from this entire thing, what are we talking about? Don't chase the name. A brand new college with a famous name can lose to a 1970s government college. So always deal with that. The patient load is always the king. The more the number of patients, the better the learning. Read the bond documents very, very carefully. Calculate the true cost and not just the tuition fees. And internship quality defines how much you learn and skill yourself in this game of being a doctor. So these are the things that we thought we'll tell you. See, the score is out there for you. I think the answer key will come in a couple of days, but by now you would know what kind of score you're likely to get. And people like us have already told you the score versus rank kind of a ratio is what we already told you. We've done already a video about that. Please look out for that, right? But once you have your score and once you have a rank, start looking at what are the chances of you getting into a medical college right now. Use a college predictor. If you want, you can speak to a counselor. I already gave you the number. Send a message called NEET, and one of our counselors will call you and speak to them. It's very important for you to make those choices right now while waiting for the results to come in. And if you want to speak to us, as I told you, you can please speak to us or write a message box here and I'll be happy to cover that for you. And please do subscribe to Medical 360. Do message me if you have any issues. And I must thank the university partner, SRMIST, which also has a medical college, for partnering with us in this endeavor to help students make the best informed decisions. Thank you so much. Namaste.